Well, what is your first impression of this woman, and how do you think the jury is going to respond to her?
Listen, Dr. Drew, first impressions matter. When there's a complicated situation like murder where someone is stabbed over and over and over and cut from the jaw, one ear to across the jaw to the other ear, first impressions matter. When we are trying to make sense of something, whether you're coming in for a job interview or in this case with murder, as soon as we look at her, we are deciding based on sometimes the nonverbals, sometimes her gestures and her mannerisms on, is this a woman who could commit murder? Is this a woman who's a liar? And do we have a potential guilty person here? And I think the answer is going to be yes. We see a lot of crocodile tears and a lot of body language tells that say this woman is not only capable of murder, but she's a phony.
Give me one.
One is we see these crocodile tears. You know, Dr. Drew, you're a doctor. There's a reason why we have a doctor called an ear, nose, and throat doctor. They're all connected. So when someone is crying unconsolably for hours or minutes, and we saw this with Susan Smith, cry, cry, cry. If you're crying for several minutes and you don't have these things called tears, your nose isn't running, you don't have deep swallows, that's when we know there's fake sadness there. With genuine sadness, we see the inner eyebrows pulled together and up. In grief, we don't see that. So right out of the gate, we see fake sadness, and we're not going to buy it. We're just not going to buy it. The jury's not going to buy it. She's not off to a good start, Jodi.
I don't know, maybe she's had a bunch of Botox or something.
Well, wait, you know, the problem with that is, take the reverse. If she sat there stoically, then and didn't cry at all, then what people would be saying is, oh my God, she's a sociopath, she's a monster, she didn't show any emotion,
but she does
blah,
sit there.
blah, blah. No, but the problem with this, with all due respect, is the jury is going to, I mean, first of all, understand something. There is a mountain of evidence against this woman. So, I mean, let's just
the jury's already biased by that.
The jury is completely biased by that. They understand it. They know somebody's been stabbed 29 times. This isn't a mystery in terms of who did it. So that you come in with jurors predisposed to that. So that isn't going to be the question. The question is whether or not they have some empathy or /sympathy whereby, as Marcia discussed earlier, they may want to move this from a murder and slide it down to a manslaughter.
Mark, do you
coach
your defense, your clients to do something to try to get more sympathy from the jury?
The worst thing you can do is coach a client. Other than to tell them no laughing, you know, this isn't a time to joke around or anything like that.
True.
But if they look like they're coached, people can read that. You can tell that.
Mark Eiglash. Mark, also, well, let me go to Mark. Mark, you were trying to break in here. Go.
Yeah, because I actually do agree with Garagos. First of all, I don't think that clients should ever be judged based on how they're acting in court. But that being said, we tell our clients, you know, they're looking to us for guidance. They're so consumed with nerves, they don't know how to act. It really would be disconcerting to think that somehow they're judging the defendant and making a decision about their guilt and not looking at the evidence. That's problematic.
Let's take a quick call. Maya in California. Maya?
Hi. I was wondering, hi, Dr. Drew. I was wondering, if she was this crazy and this psychotic to commit such violent overkill, why would he have this relationship with her? Why would he have this sexual relationship?
I would just say there are a lot of males out there that don't ask questions like that, and that's why these guys do this kind of thing, because they can. That's what it boils down to.
You know what?
But it's an interesting question. It's a valid
Maya's question is fantastic because that's something that everybody's going to plug into, or at least the defense is going to plug into. Look, she doesn't just snap out of anywhere and stab somebody 29 times, shoot him, give him the coup de grace on the head if it was the end.
Well, you're right, and that's the question I'm looking for. What's the antecedent history here? What do we know about her that builds a case that she is someone who's capable of that? I've not seen anybody present that, really.
But what were they alluding to today? They're talking about anal sex. They're talking about the sins of Mormonism. They're getting into all of that kind of language, which I think the defense is building a theme here. The only theme that they can is that she just was broken. He broke her mentally.
He broke her down. It wasn't some pre-existing condition.
And maybe she was susceptible. This is your area of expertise. But you're going to say he's the one who broke her down, and I think that's exactly where the defense was headed.
Marcia, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, Dr. Drew, I was just going to ask you. The problem with that defense is that in saying that she snapped, that there was some kind of provocative act on his part, and obviously, as Mark Garagos and I have been saying, you know, something that he was doing to her, some kind of brutality inflicted upon her that caused her to act out.
Yeah, they keep
the
talking
problem
about,
is, Doctor, if I ask you, Doctor, as an expert, to opine for me in front of the jury that she snapped because of something he did, wouldn't you need some evidence of his prior conduct, that he had been abusive to her in the past, as opposed to something that just only happened between them on that one day?
But sometimes, I would say, Mark, to take devil's advocacy, I would say sometimes it is the special alchemy of that relationship that results in both of them going to a place they would know.
How many people? How many couples have you met? How many couples have you met that, you know, seem perfectly normal, separated from one another, but you put them together and there's a chemistry there that just is explosive.
But still, you'd want to know that both of these people, if you're going to make the case that he had really done something brutality.